All right, so we're back for what is it, day 6 now of this challenge. If this is your first time tuning in, what we're doing is playing one run of Slay the Spire every day until Slay the Spire 2 comes out. The story is that I used to play this game a lot, like a couple hundred hours a lot, but I never climbed up to the highest difficulty levels with any character. And so I'm going to try and see if I can do that under these constraints. So far, we played one run with the Ironclad and we won. And since then, we've been rocking on Silent. I'm going to keep going on Silent. Today, we're trying Ascension 4, which is Deadlier Bosses. Yesterday's run was really tough, so I'm sure this one's going to be tougher. I do feel like I'm reacquainting myself with the game, though, pretty well, and especially with the Silent. And we're going to keep pushing on Silent until we hit the last unlock on her, and then we'll probably move back over to Ironclad or start exploring the Defect. Either way, though, Ascension level 4 on the Silent. Let's shoot for a 6-0 start. I know the losses are going to pile up the higher we ascend, so the better we can start off here, the better we're going to do. All right, so we can remove a card, obtain 3 random potions, or obtain a random rare relic for 21 damage. We're going to go with the potions. Those can be extremely helpful through an Act 1. So we've got Liquid Memories, allows us to replay a card from our discard pile for free. Block Potion can come in clutch through this act, and a Poison Potion might help us if we're a little low on damage. So I like that draw for random potions for Act 1. I think we're probably going to take the right path because we can hit a rest site before our first elite. So let's see what our first combat has in store. Oops. Alright, so Neutralize Strike takes care of the front slime. Strike gets us started on the back slime. Alright, now 1 strike draw gets us through this fight clean. I think I'll hold on to the potions I have here. Our first card here today, it's between Sucker Punch or Deadly Poison. Probably going to go with Sucker Punch as a decent strike plus for Act 1 here. Next, we'll steer into this event. Alright, so we get Living Wall. We can remove a card, transform a card, or upgrade a card. Let's just go ahead and take that free upgrade on Sucker Punch here. That 2 stacks a week makes it last multiple turns, and the 9 damage makes it a really good strike now. Okay, so now we need to think about this. It's actually probably a really good turn to throw a Block Potion. Save as much damage as possible in these early fights before our deck is powerful. That allowed us to keep on offense turn 1. Now we can throw a second whole turn of offense on him. And now with the strike, we can get him on turn 3. 2 strikes. We got it though. Alright, we had a strength potion. Now we get a choice between Sneaky Strike, Sucker Punch, or Deadly Poison. Sneaky Strike isn't terribly great without the cards to synergize with it. So we're going to add Deadly Poison to our deck. Going to stick to the path with the enemies here. Keep adding cards to prepare for the elite. Get that poison stacked immediately. What exactly does Ritual do? At the end of turn, he gains 4 strength, so he gets stronger every turn. Okay. We can live with that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And we'll do that. So we're not going to get him this turn, unfortunately. But we do defend everything. Poison gets him down to 4. Alright, you're toast, buddy. Early Wraith form, that's amazing. What are we gonna do about this? 'Cause that is a fat stack of damage at our face. Well, we can take care of either the front one or the back one. Or maybe not quite, because I forget that they gained armor there. We take all of our energy to do that. We can bring it back with our potion. Get him with that. Strike the back guy. Now at least throw up a little bit of block. Alright, so we take our first damage of the run here. That takes care of you. That's well on its way to taking care of you. Alright, so that guy's toast, and we only took 8 damage there. We can live with that. Now we take a Blade Dance, I'm sure. Bouncing Flask doubles down on the poison thing we already have going, but there are simply better poison cards. I mean, the random makes it a little hard, so there's a lot of multi-encounters here on floor 1. Floor 2, I think I take a Bouncing Flask in a heartbeat, but right now it's just Blade Dance for damage, especially if we run into Knob. Blade Dance can be absolutely huge. I do realize I've gone a little bit off my intended path, but it's fine. 7 HP for removing a card from our deck is probably a good trade at this point. And the answer here is either a defend or a strike. I'm gonna get rid of a strike. Alright, so I'm gonna alter the path a little bit here and go to the rest site here and aim for the next elite up. And we're gonna upgrade the Wraith form. The extra turn of intangible on that is huge, especially like in a fight like this, where I probably am just gonna Wraith form right off the bat. Let me think about that though first. That's 12 damage, but we'd have to throw them all to get rid of one. This would get rid of another. That would leave us taking 6, whereas Wraith form would leave us taking 3, but we don't get a head start on the damage. Actually, I changed my mind. We're gonna Wraith form if it comes back around. All right, we'll do that and tank 6 of it. All right, so now we need to think about killing one of these guys. 6 plus. All right, so a Sucker Punch and a poison will get that guy. Actually, yeah, we have to do that. Neutralize him and defend. And that's the best we can do that turn. Maybe should have thought about using our strength potion this battle. In fact, I may still need to dispatch this guy properly. We'll see though. Oh, because that gets us enough defense. We can defend. Oops. Come on now, discard the defend. And then strike you twice. Trying to like play this fight back in my head and think like, how did I approach this wrong? Because I think that I did approach it wrong. Possibly right off the bat with just not using the Wraith form turn 1. But we escape in decent shape. Alright, so we get a prepared, a sneaky strike, or a second blade dance. Definitely a second blade dance right now. And we add kunai, which is absolutely huge with 2 blade dances in our deck. So now we will veer over into the elite. It is Nob. We're very well prepared for Nob, right? Just shivs to the face, which will give us strength with kunai. Or not strength, that's dexterity, but still. There is a relic that makes it strength, right? Or am I imagining things? Throw that on you just to speed things up. It's bad to play skills against you, but I think that's still the play here. And poison is simply more damage than strike. He hits for 7. Poison gets him down to 20. The next turn we'll get him down to 11. So that would mean like pretty much any 2 draws gets us there. So we can safely play a defend just to shore up a little bit here. We're gonna be resting in the next rest site. As much as I would love to snag another upgrade. We don't get enough damage to get there, but we can Wraith form. Alright, we can deal with that. We get Bottled Lightning. Upon pickup, choose a skill. Start each combat with this card in your hand. Do we want to Bottled Lightning anything? I mean, Deadly Poison doesn't seem like a bad thing to Bottled Lightning. Get that stacked at the beginning of every battle. Especially if we get into Catalyst later. That means that anytime Catalyst comes up, we should have somebody poisoned. Like literally anytime. So we'll take that and apply it to the Deadly Poison. Pick up a Speed Potion. And we add... It's between Glass Knife and Dodge and Roll, but it's got to be a Glass Knife. Oh, that's just good damage. Alright, that gets us back up to 52 health. What do we pick up? Taking a lot of chip damage because we don't have a good defense solution yet, but that could present itself soon in the form of maybe like a relic. This is simply Wraith form. See, we are dealing really good damage though. Like if it's a damage race, we're not in bad shape. It's just like we can't let that health get too low, right? So now we've got Bane, Tactician, or Flying Knee. Bane is always going to be firing off with our Bottled Lightning. And now we can head into the shop, see what's available to us. Clockwork Souvenir, start each combat with 1 artifact. That's not bad at all. Snecko Skull, whenever you apply poison, apply an additional 1 poison. That sounds nicer than it is. Pear's honestly appealing here because we gain 10 health off of it. That makes me feel a little more confident, possibly not resting, depending on how the next couple of encounters go. I don't think I want an unupgraded prepared. I don't think violence really helps us. So we can't afford the pair though. I mean, that's barely helpful, right? So is this just a skip? Heal hook, if the enemy doesn't have weak, is not great. What do we have that adds weak? We've got Sucker Punch and Neutralize. So we actually do have 2 cards that add weak. And that, but it only replaces itself and replaces its own energy. So 5 damage is the only net positive there. I'm simply going to remove. We already moved a strike, so now let's remove a defend. Now we do the elite. Alright, these guys are a little tricky for us. We'll do this so that 1 defend takes care of the block for this turn. Let's stack some poison on you. Question is, Blade Dance or Sucker Punch? Probably Sucker Punch. The weak is better than the extra 3 damage we would have got there. Okay, this is a good draw. We're gonna Survivor because we do need to throw some block up. We toss the strike out. That's 16. That's 14. So if we Glass Knife you and then Blade Dance, hit you with a single Shiv, poison will knock you out. Shiv the guy in back to get started on him. This is Wraith form. Alright, our deck cycles back through. Those days starts coming up though. Survivor, discard the days. Sucker Punch, Blade Dance. It's one of those hands that just plays itself. We got to play everything, right? Oh, we've got 1 more turn of Intangible left from Wraith form. Get a hand of nothing but Dazed, but honestly, that's not bad because that means that the next hand is not going to have any Dazed in it. Honestly, Kunai plays off the Wraith form really well because that dexterity you slowly gain over time from it negates the debuff. Well, unfortunately, we came into Bane before we came into Deadly Poison again. But we're still doing all right here, I think. We take 4 more damage here, which would have been nice to avoid. But now we get to rest heading into the boss, and not bad for a floor 1, I feel. All right, we add the courier. The merchant restocks cars, relics, and potions. All prices are reduced by 20. This is probably a good place to pick up a blur. Now here we have to rest. And I should have pumped the strength potion there. Probably will pump it next turn. So that's just gonna help us get there faster against him. He's gonna start to beat us up with his thorns is the problem here, right? So let's use our draw potion. That at least throws up a little bit of block so that our next 2 shivs don't give us thorns damage. Kunai procs. Question is breaking through his shield here worth the 2 damage we take back? Probably not. All right, we can safely Wraith form pretty much as soon as it comes up every time. And again, that's because Kunai procs every turn for us, more or less. And that means that the debuff from Wraith form is never really an issue for us. All right, he can't hurt us here. Alright, Blade Dance, weak on you. That makes you switch forms. So now we throw up a Defend, Blade Dance, Shiv, yeah. Poison takes him into his next form, I think. No, it didn't knock him out of it. That's fine. God dang, man. We just gotta go for it at this point. 39, he's going to deal 12 more to us. That'll bring us down to 27. Made an executive decision that we just needed to get as much damage there to have a chance. He's going to hit us for half of our health here, which is unfortunate. There's no answer for it. That's going to be 8 more. The poison is only going to deal him 3, so it can't quite knock him out of his form. All right, 12 HP, but he's got 36. Can we pull this out? some poison on him. That's more damage than a single shiv, so that makes sense there, right? Or do we? No. It's survivor. Discard the defend. Then we can blade dance. Safely play all 3 shivs and the neutralize. It's gonna be stupid close. We need to blur, defend, blade dance. That's 18 plus 6 from the poison. All right, we barely had what it took there, but we got it. Corpse explosion. Without a second thought, corpse explosion. All right, velvet choker. That's an option. Hovering kite. The first time you discard a card each turn, gain energy. We might go with that. Philosopher's stone. All enemies start combat with 1 strength. I mean, again, kunai kind of negates that in a lot of ways. It's also one of the easier ones to play around, so we'll do that. Like, it basically means every enemy is going to do 1 more damage every time they attack. Wow, a lot of events here on the left side. Let's do this, right? Yeah. All right, what is the best option here? So we have a lot before us. I think it's probably Wraith form, toss the poison potion, and the deadly poison. Okay. It's a really crappy hand for a turn that she's not attacking. For anyone watching right now, if you're a fan of tactical games or indie games in general, I got a really cool stream coming up on Wednesday. A game called Demon School is coming out, and the composer for the soundtrack is actually a friend of the channel, so he's gonna hop on stream with us to chat for a little bit. That'll be Wednesday night, so you know, hit follow if that sounds interesting to you. All right, 20 is a big number, but I think he's gonna hit us with that. All right, that sucks. If our deck could have jumped up 1 more damage there, we would have been all right. So that's an instance where actually the well, no, the Philosopher's Stone didn't hurt us because we wouldn't have been able to play as much without it. I think I'm going to actually skip there. All right, the woman blue, we can buy potions. Let's just go ahead and fill up. We got colorless potion, occultist potion, and a swift potion. All right, here we actually get a decent turn 1 finally. Start the poison stack. Blast knife fires off. That gives us a couple procs of kunai on turn 1. All right, we can Wraith form, Being able to like Wraith form and do something else on the same turn now is huge. All right, some of that block will actually hold over now. All right, that takes care of him. That was much cleaner than the first fight of this floor. Do we add a cunning potion over any of these? I think I probably do like it over the colorless potion just because we have a little more control over what it does for us. And I'll take a Sucker Punch plus. This is a tricky one. Let's go ahead and Wraith form. Blade Dance. Take the 2 damage chip shot here. Alright, Corpse Explosion to start the poison on you. We can Sucker Punch you. Now we know that if anything, if it comes down to it, we can Shiv Potion to get rid of that bird at any point. So until it's threatening on us in any sort of manner, I'm just going to pretty much ignore that bird. This deck is starting to function now. It's still a couple of cards away from like really working. Like a couple of acrobatics would be nice to see. Some more poison stuff would be really nice to see. And yeah, so here is a situation where I'm going to go ahead and use the Shiv Potion to not have to waste too much energy on him. That knocks him out of the air. So now we can Survivor. Strike. Again, a little bit of chip damage here. Alright, now we do need to kill the bird. Strike is the least costly way to do it. Okay, not bad. I can live with that. Masterful Stab, no. Infinite Blades, absolutely not. Riddle with Holes, absolutely not. Those are 3 of my least favorite silent cards, honestly. So now we head into a shop. Okay, medical kit. That's not terribly helpful to us. Oddly Smooth Stone. Start each combat with 1 dexterity. We already scale a lot of dexterity, so that's kind of silly. Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power card into your deck, upgrade it. Are there any powers here we want to add? No. We'll take the cheap Adrenaline without a second thought, though. All-out attack is appealing here because we don't have any area of effect damage yet. All of our cards focus on 1 enemy. So even though it's not a wonderful card, it patches a hole. Crippling Cloud is a huge addition for this deck. And now we even have enough gold left to remove a strike. So awesome shop. We are going to rest here heading into the Elite. All right, Book of Stabbing. So let's Adrenaline right off the bat. We definitely need to get the poison starting to stack. Neutralize is free. We're still got 4 energy to work with. So Bane is more damage than Blade Dance. Do I Wraith form yet? Probably should. Up here we're sitting on Ritual Potion and Swift Potion. I think this is the turn for the round for Ritual Potion. We want to make sure that we scale against this guy. Last Knife, Strike, Strike. Make sure that we're getting the most out of our Wraith form turns. Obviously, the card that would really make this deck go is Catalyst or a couple of Catalysts, like Catalyst Burst. So far, so good, though. That's an amount of damage we can probably take care of before he kills us. That's a big damage number, though, right? 8 times 4. That's 32. That's most of our... Is what it is, right? Well, that brings it down to 24. That's something we can stomach a little better. Stack the poison up. At least block some of that. Ouch, man, you know that? Okay, 18 at our face, but we might be able to find a way to kill him here if we think about this. 16 from the poison, plus 12 is 28, plus 18 is 46, plus a strike is 9. God, one short again, huh? Let's do this. And that's a better option than a strike. So I think if my math is right here, we play our best damage cards and he's going to be toast. I don't think I needed to drink that potion. Preserved Insect, huge for us. Smoke Bomb, huge given our health situation. These are all skips. We're gonna have to take the no elites route. That's fine. Some runs you gotta prioritize staying alive. All right, we get 9 poison stacked up turn 1, which is huge. 18, we definitely adrenaline. Last Knife. We gotta defend. Way more of that breaks through than I would like. Alright, that's lethal. It's not. Oh wow, I screwed up. God. I went going way too fast there, and I didn't realize that he was gaining armor each time I did that. I just added the numbers up, and I was like, oh, that's lethal damage. It's not. He's gonna have 3 health left. That doesn't break through his shield. So this is smoke bomb, so at least we have a get out of jail free card. Alright, Ancient Tea Set. Whenever you enter rest site, start the next combat with 2 extra energy. Sure. So this has to be rest. Now we're not on the brink of dying, at least. We'll head this direction so we can hit another shop before we head out of here. No, we've removed enough for now. Plus, we can do that at the shop if need be. Rest, we're back up to basically full HP again. Okay, let's do that as well as that and that. All right, that nearly takes care of her on turn 1, and she's gonna pop for 48 corpse explosion over to the knight. 18 is a lot. That is what it is, sort of deal. That knocks it down to a more reasonable level. Attack her. Defend blocks the majority of that. Okay, so she's gonna take 13 poison damage, so we only need to pop her for 5 to hurt her. So that means we should use Sucker Punch on her. Then we can let the poison do that last damage. And we'll do that to start to stack block for next turn. All right, what can we pull out of our hat here? Plenty of damage. All right, Piercing Wail, that's another answer. We've been light on defense. That's a good defensive answer. The bomb is an interesting option for this deck, but we can't afford it. Membership card. That could make the rest of our shops really good. The question is there a card here that helps us? We don't need another Sucker Punch. Riddle with Holes is terrible. Dodge and Roll, not really, not really. Potions. A Regen Potion. That's a really good idea for us, actually. And while we're spending money on potions, I'll take an energy potion. 57 HP. This is a rest. HP has been like our worst resource the whole way through. And I don't feel like upgrading cards at this point is going to be like the difference maker as far as that's concerned. We would have loved to see a Wraith form turn 1 here. Fortunately, we don't. Definitely need the Survivor. All right, that's fine. We block. Piercing Wail makes that a more reasonable amount of damage. Corpse Explosion is more damage than Glass Knife. Defend. Next time he deals us damage, we can start the regen potion. I probably am gonna Wraith form here, even though he's not attacking this turn, just so we can do nothing but attack the next few turns. That's more damage than Sucker Punch. Now, a little bit of a weird Wraith form, but again, I'm not worried about the long-term implications because we have Kunai. Using it in the Wraith form into multiple non-attack turns sucks though, but poison's gonna go a long way for us here. Corpse Explosion, Sucker Punch, defend. And let's go ahead and Energy Potion and throw these strikes. Alright, now we can start our Regen Potion. We're out of really good answers for his ever-increasing attacks at this point. Okay, this means we get at least 2 turns to focus on damage. Corpse Explosion, stack that poison even higher. Bane, Blade Dance. Alright, he's about to inflame himself again. Blast Knife is starting to really be reduced in effectiveness at this point. And that was stupid. That was a misplay right there. Forgot about the random discard effect on all-out attack and then discarded my shivs. If we lose with him at 12 or less, we're screwed. Now we're screwed. He burns the poison off. This is 60 that we can't do much about at all. Sucker Punch at least brings that down to 44. We simply don't have the damage to scale 136 before he's gonna kill us. It's not happening this turn at least. Hanging on for absolute dear life here. But we just don't have it. This turn is gonna be it. Neutralize brings him to 18. Yeah, we have no defense in our hands. This is unfortunately going to be the first loss of this challenge at Ascension 4 on Silent. This deck unfortunately just never scaled like we needed it to. So let me just go ahead and update the stats real quick. I knew the streak wasn't going to stay forever. So we're at 5 wins and 1 loss now with 103 days remaining until Slay the Spire 2. I'll be back at this tomorrow night. And then also subscribe to the channel because we've got really cool stream coming up Wednesday night, new game coming out, Demon School, and the composer for the soundtrack on that game, Kurt Feldman, is a friend of the channel, and he's going to appear on stream with us to talk a little bit about what it was like composing the soundtrack for that game. So yeah, hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of seeing me lose on floor 32 tonight. All right, so I missed yesterday on my daily challenge. That means that we're gonna do 2 runs today, one early, one late. If this is your first time tuning into the series, what we're doing here is starting on a fresh save and playing 1 game of Slay the Spire every day between now and when Slay the Spire 2 comes out, seeing if we can get to Ascension 20 with any characters, something I've never done before. We started out 5-0. That came to a screeching halt last time on Ascension 4 with the Silent, so we need to get back on the horse and see if we can't avenge that loss. Knew we wouldn't stay perfect forever. It was feeling really good starting out 5-0 though, so let's see if we can't get another streak started. So we can choose between transform a card, obtain 100 gold, curse for a random rare relic, or I never like doing the random boss relic, especially not with Silent. Let's just transform a strike and see what happens. Free Nightmare. This can be basically a curse for a while. It could pay off down the road. All right, so we don't want to play right into a shop. Preferably, we would like to see a rest site before we do our first elite. So I think that means we're going to start over here. And we're going to have to start off with 4 fights. So we're going to have to work for it today, basically. Well, now we know we're getting plenty of strikes next turn. See, there's that Nightmare, just a curse for us, because that would be stupid, right? Versus just getting 18 damage off now. Yeah, that would be stupid. All right, so we take 5 here. Our deck shuffles back through, so all of the strikes are available to us again. Fortunately, we only come into 2 of them, right? See, this is where that Nightmare has hurt us, because this would have been a 3rd strike, which would have been lethal this turn. Instead, we're going to take a really big hit here. All right, very rough first combat. We get a Blade Dance though. Nightmare the Blade Dance makes no sense, right? Because we just make more damage if we do the strikes this turn. But we can see how the Blade Dance ups our damage output immediately. Nightmare can be such a good card as like the last card added to your deck. It's a really, really freaking terrible card as the first card added to your deck. And we got saddled with it. Just taking a lot of damage through these first fights. All right, at least we're through him. Explosive potion could be very helpful. Flying knee is probably smarter and more helpful for us at this juncture than Piercing Wail is, even though Piercing Wail is a much better card. Much better card. I can't pass Piercing Wail. All right, good round of damage, turn 1 there. No more strikes there. Now our deck cycles back around though, so we can get some of our offensive cards back in this hand. But he's also cursed us a number of times here. All right, we're good. That was an all offense hand. Choke is not bad. It's usually at least 15 damage for 2. Quick Slash, not the best. I mean, it would be good, but there's better cards. Deadly Poison, it's a lot of damage for 1. It's a little slow, but we'll go into it. Deadly Poison actually on its own wouldn't be an unreasonable target for the Nightmare in certain occasions. I can just block that with the Survivor, so no need to blow the Piercing Wail yet. Alright, so we're going to take another big whack here, which means we are absolutely going to have to rest at the rest site. If we made it through this battle at 49, I would have given strong consideration to upgrading something, like probably the Blade Dance. Alright, so there goes the looter. We had a colorless potion. Slice is interesting here. It's definitely between Slice and Flying Knee. I think I'm going to add a Slice just to keep up on those low-cost cards. We're not doing much else well right now, so... Alright, do we get better luck than when we transform to strike into a frickin' Nightmare? Or do we get out from under this Nightmare and transform it? I think that's probably the better play. Nightmare's just no good until Act 3, until your deck's established, until you have a target with it. Every time we've drawn it, it's been bad for us. So we get outmaneuver. Not the best, but it's at least useful. Alright, we get a combat for this event, which I don't like to see. Start stacking poison. I think I do need to throw up a little bit of block here. Alright, this is a perfect Piercing Wail turn. Survivor to block the rest of that. We're gonna take 4 here. That's not worth popping either of our potions to avoid, so we get them next turn. Gambler's Brew. Accuracy, acrobatics. Accuracy or acrobatics. I think this is a good spot for accuracy. So if we go into that elite, we're committing to facing 2 elites in a minimum of 2 combats before our next rest site. We have to fight an elite eventually, right? This direction doesn't really help us out in that manner. So we're just going to go for it. We're going to trust that we have enough offense now. And this is the exact situation I was talking about when I said that Explosive Potion could come in big time handy in Act 1. And now accuracy is also immediately helpful. Getting rid of one of the sentries on turn 1 is amazing. We're gonna go ahead and burn the colorless potion too, just to see what we get out of it. Free 6 block is not bad. That's gonna be the ticket here. Now, ideally, we get rid of the back sentry next turn, and they're not attacking next turn. Does it make sense to start putting this on the front sentry? Oh, it doesn't matter because they have freaking artifact. Okay, not the hand we wanted to see there at all. Nor is that, right? But that's why we have Gambler's Brew. Get rid of everything that's not strikes. Still a terrible draw. Oh no, y'all, this is looking like loss number 2 in a row, just playing this forward, that we've got to bust through a few more combats, including an elite, before we can get to our last rest site. Maybe we'll just get something awesome here, though. Alright, Piercing Wail helps a ton here. Alright, now I think any of our remaining cards there should get the job done. Blade Dance is the one I wanted to see. Alright, we're alive. Toxic Egg, whenever you add a skill into your deck, upgrade it. That's a great relic if we can hang on long enough, you know? Doppelganger, next turn, draw X+1 cards and gain X+1 energy exhaust. Second accuracy would be really stupid. It's not a great card, but what else are we doing? What's our better option to get through like a knob or something like that? Sucker Punch doesn't really help a ton in that regard. So we'll go with another second accuracy. God, this is stupid deck already. Letter Opener. Every time you play 3 skills in a single turn, deal 5 damage to all enemies. No, we can't do a combat. Alright, so here's our second elite. Alright, it is Legabulin, which is interesting. turn 1 is the perfect time to draw outmaneuver. Each 20. Alright, we're only taking 4 from that at least. Get 1 accuracy out. And our second accuracy. That's not bad, right? We gotta do that. And slice him. Survivor, discard the defend. We're taking 12 here, but we're dealing 36 plus 3 more from the poison. We get really lucky here. Our Blade Dance could circle right back around into our hand. It doesn't. All right, we survived Legavulin with 13 health. Oddly smooth stones start each combat with 1 dexterity. A piercing whale plus, but we have 1 piercing whale already. A backflip plus. Backflip plus is amazing for us right now. Can we get through 2 / possibly 3 combats with 13 health? This is a moment where I simply have to cheat a little bit and see what in the world this event does. With 13 health, it is very hard to figure out whether this is worth it without knowing exactly what the deal is here. I used to know every event, and that's why I'm not really considering this cheating during the challenge. It's knowledge I once had. I just lost it playing the game, not playing the game for a couple years. So we get Curse, which... Oh, we get to choose how to defend ourselves. And what does the Golden Idol itself do? Enemies drop more gold. This is not worth it for the situation we're in. All right, 2 fights. They're threatening a lot of damage already, huh? Any 2 of them to hit is lethal, so we need to find a way to kill 2 of these dudes on this turn, or we are screwed. We definitely need to backflip, because I don't think we have enough damage here, right? Or... that's 12. 6 and 6, but he's gonna pop 5 armor when I hit him. All right, this is a moment I really got to think it out, because we're not surviving this turn if we don't do it right. So I hit him with, let's say, a strike for 6 damage, gets him down to 8, but then he gets 5 shield. So another strike only cuts them down 1, then I'd be needing to use 2. So no, we don't have the damage in our hand. Can we... oh, backflip, obviously, because that gives us some block. I think accuracy Blade Dance is the play here. So one of those kills you. That doesn't quite break through, but at least I think we're surviving. 13, we block 9, so yeah, we're taking 4 damage. This has gotten rough in a hurry, and I don't think there's too much we could have done better or differently. with the way this run is gone. That nightmare at the beginning was a nightmare. Playing any of these helps us none at all. All right, another accuracy. Outmaneuver means next turn gives us plenty of energy. That pops his shield. We should be all right here. All right, we live to fight another day. Dagger throw or dagger spray. Dagger throw is probably a little better. All right, 9 health. Let's do that for sure. Backflip. Now our block's taken care of. Now our shivs are going to be big when they come around. Maybe. Alright, so they're threatening lethal damage, which is lovely. But we've got options here. So let's start with Survivor. I'm gonna discard the deadly poison. We're gonna Blade Dance next. That takes care of you. All right, we take 6 damage here. Okay, we made it to the rest site. Cloak and Dagger is really good with our dual accuracy thing going on. Cloak and Dagger plus. All right, definitely rest. 24 HP going into Hexaghost. Who knows, right? All right, getting an accuracy down is good. Got to remember we've got that fire potion. All right, we get our second accuracy down. See, Cloak and Dagger is huge now because it's block and a ton of damage. 3 times 6 is 18, so we need to backflip. Now he's only dealing 12, so this enemy intends to attack 2 times. Okay, so now we strike because we are blocking fully. Getting both accuracies down before we come into our Blade Dance is big. So we Dagger Throw to start off with here. Discard a strike. We're gonna Survivor, gets us full block. Now Blade Dance hits for 36 damage, which is huge. All right, Piercing Wail gets us out of jail free here. Next we backflip simply for the card draw. Cloak and Dagger, that's gonna be 24 damage versus Deadly Poison is 5 plus 4 plus 3. Cloak and Dagger is simply more damage. Alright, I'll take that energy next turn. We have to prioritize blocking a little there. right, these burns are gonna start to matter, but we can discard them. It's Blade Dance. It's 36 more damage. I love to see it. Flame, so he's gonna get a bunch stronger now. 8 times 2 is 16, huh? Well, let's dagger throw. I think simply prioritizing health here is the ticket. So we're getting in the territory of like a good hand and our potion being able to do this. 8. Survivor gets rid of the burn. Poke and dagger gets us 2 shivs. We pulled it off and we saved our potion. Wow, I would have said like just if you asked me to place a bet early on in this when we were looking at heading into the string of 2 elites and all of that without any rest site with a deck that was doing nothing good, like 5% chance that Nightmare comes back. We don't want that. I think Malaise Plus is probably the ticket here for us. Doppelganger Plus is interesting. I mean, we play that even with just our last single energy of a turn. That becomes 2 card draw and 2 energy the next turn. So that's +1 of each is the way to think that. Oh, whereas this is sort of like a different piercing whale. Although Nightmare Plus coming back around, choosing a Blade Dance, I think it's time that Nightmare comes back into the deck. All right, Black Star, one of my favorite relics. Runic Dome, I'm not doing that. Runic Pyramid, at the end of your turn, you no longer discard your hand. Black Star. All right, the Act 2 that I did not think we'd see. We're still on an early enough ascension that it's a full heal. And I'm gonna start here simply so we can play into that early shop with our 349 gold. Gosh, another interesting target for Nightmare would be accuracy, sort of. All right, so let's start with the Cloak and Dagger. It gets us 7 block. 2 looters is kind of tough. Survivor gets us up to 16. They're threatening 22. 1 more strike would do that. Probably just Piercing Whale. And now that's an amount of damage that we can stomach. I really can't believe we made it through the Elite 2 combats and the boss when we were sitting on like 9 health or whatever that was. All right. We need to get rid of at least the front one this turn. Yeah, probably a perfect time to burn the fire potion. That's a big damage number, buddy. All right, next turn, we should come into our Blade Dance, and we've got both accuracies down. Another Blade Dance is the absolute best thing we can see right now, like as far as a card reward. Three accuracies. Or another dagger throw. It's really stupid to have 3 accuracies in your deck, right? We're doing it. This is a bit of a meme run all of a sudden, but like, I've not tried a deck with multiple copies of accuracy, so I'm shitting on it a little bit, but like, is Nightmare the Neutralize a good play here? Then we get to stab plenty of weak on him next turn, or at least break through his artifact. That is the correct play here, is to Nightmare and Neutralize. That's something else I've never done. All right, we break through his artifact. Backflip is plenty of block. We get our accuracy down. Now we don't want a dagger throw because we might draw into our Blade Dance without being able to play it. So this is a deadly poison, which actually applies because we got through the artifact. So Nightmare the Neutralize, tripping over my words, but that was actually the correct and good play somehow. God, 22 damage, and we draw into almost no defense cards. You gotta play the accuracy to make the Cloak and Dagger pop off a little better. And the 2 energy next turn is probably better for us than dealing 6 more damage to his shield this turn. Piercing Wail. We get our 3rd accuracy out. Now our shivs are dealing 16 damage apiece. This is so silly. Dodge and roll plus. Gain 6 block. Next turn, gain 6 block. Poison Stab, Heal Hook. Heal Hook's a really bad card. Really bad. I think Dodge and Roll's good for us. Alright, we should be able to afford whatever looks good here. Hand Drill, whenever you break an enemy's block, apply 2 vulnerable. Art of War, if you do not play any attacks during your turn, gain additional energy next turn. Meat on the Bone, huge for us. Second Nightmare, that would be really quite silly. Would it though? Noxious Fumes kind of blows. We need Meat on the Bone. We need to remove a card. And it's probably got to be a strike. That leaves us with 67 gold. Cool, we can't do anything stupid like that anyways. Prepared Plus becomes actual card draw. So I'll add that. I guess event before enemy makes sense. Gain 5 max HP to lose 18 HP or become cursed. I'll just take the curse. We've got plenty of discard in our deck now. So we backflip. That's the most damage we can do, I think. And it makes sense to get rid of the fungi beast before he can power himself up. Alright, we take another bit of a whack here. But meat on the bone triggers, meaning if we make it out of this combat, we're gaining 12 HP on the other side of it. Guess it makes sense to prepare first. And then get rid of the strike. And the slice. Yeah. That brings his damage down to a level that we can not fret as much about the hit. $21, huh? Well, we can dodge and roll. We can piercing wail. We can outmaneuver to make next turn better. This is starting to get sketchy again. Alright, Nightmare of the Cloak and Dagger is probably a guaranteed win next turn, right? Now here we Cloak and Dagger. And I'm gonna prioritize defense so we don't take any extra dings to our HP here. Slice, and then I think the Cloak and Daggers simply get there. Yeah. Alright, meat on the bone saves us a little bit there. Attack potion, that might get us out of jail at some point. Dagger throw or a second piercing wail plus. Probably a second piercing wail plus. Again, our damage has not been an issue here. It's been taking damage. So now we rest. All of our skills upgrade themselves as we take them. So as much as I'd love to be like upgrading our blade dances and our accuracies and stuff like that, it's not a huge priority as much as health is. All right, Book of Stabbing. I think we can win a damage race against him. First thing to do here is to prepare because it's free. And we get that guy out of our hand. The other thing I don't believe I'll be doing is playing a defend this turn. Next, we slice because it's free. We know we need to backflip. And now we can actually afford to play down both accuracies. We're taking one. We get 2 accuracies down before we come into our first blade dance or cloak and dagger or anything like that. This is probably going to be piercing wail. Dodge and roll deadly poison. Alright, so he's threatening big damage, but we come into our shivs finally. $14, $20, so now he's only threatening to deal 3 to us. We can stomach that. Especially since at this point, if we can get to like 34 health or somewhere in that neighborhood, we actually come out better for it. It's now a piercing wail. Get our last accuracy out. And then we actually do want to take that chip damage here, so just outmaneuver to make next turn better. Yeah, we need to take 3 more damage to trigger meat on the bone. That's a lot more than 3 damage, man. Pretty bad draw, too. Well, we can do that and discard the wound. Defend. 7 times 5 is 35, minus 15 is threatening 20 at us. We need to see what our potions can't do for us. Have we discarded a card this turn? I think that we have. Not that that extra energy helps us at all. Burn that. What does that do? Deals 5 damage. Alright, so we take a big whack here. These are simply not the cards we needed to draw. Okay. Discard those guys. Alright, this gets there. At least meat on the bone gets us a little bit of that back. Fossilized Helix is big for us. We get to buffer the first damage in each combat. Ninja Scroll at the start of each combat, add 3 shivs into your hand. That's awesome for us. Fairy in a bottle. If we die, we get to revive at 30% HP. That's about as good a haul as you can hope, and we haven't even seen the card yet. Dash. I think dash fills a niche that we don't have filled right now. Now we rest. Oh, we get a potion belt. Now here... No, I think it's smarter to go this direction. Oh, this is a guy that can ruin our plans. Holy crap, is this a guy that can ruin our plans? Quite silly, but we're gonna nightmare the accuracy. Who knows what they're gonna cost next turn though, but oh, those stay the right cost somehow. Okay. And we get a free cloak and dagger. Free dodge and roll helps because he's going to deal a bit of damage to us there. But getting 3 accuracies down on turn 2 is pretty huge. Now that actually makes it to where we block most of it. We get some 16 damage shivs. Alright, God, his energy nonsense really hurts us there. 3 shivs at 16 damage each, though, is what, 48? So that doesn't quite get us there. I think we probably need the piercing wail. Or no, we simply take that damage. So we need to make sure we get there next turn. Now the question is, do I mess around and try and take a tiny bit more damage so meat on the bone triggers? Probably. Slice is safe, but we can't play it. Strike is safe. All right, now as long as we come into 10 damage next turn, getting down to 33 here actually makes us come out of the combat with more health because of meat on the bone. We just simply need to draw into some damage here. My plans are being messed with. 3 piercing wail. Okay, now I can just throw poison on him. Okay, cool. Some meat on the bone triggers. Predator plus. That's pretty good. All right, the nest. Ritual dagger. Or just take 99 gold. I'll take the ritual dagger. Whenever you use a potion, heal 5 HP. Cool. Now we'll take the rest site. And I will... I mean, I can rest here, or I can try and be really cute about things in the next combat and take, you know, between 5 and 11 damage and that somewhere in that neighborhood and have meat on the bone, give us more combat coming out. That gives us another upgrade. We do really need to start like upgrading our blade dances. That's what I'm gonna do. The single blade dance in our deck is like the win condition right now after we get our 3 accuracies down, which is stupid. But having an extra shiv there is important. All right, these guys can deal a fair amount of damage to me though, which worries me a little. All right, we throw our first accuracy down. Now our shivs are powered up. Second accuracy or a dash. Dodge and roll might also make sense here. Get us a little block started for next turn. No, I think dash is the play. So now with a decent draw, we should be able to take care of her next turn. Oh, I gotta keep remembering that our first instance of damage doesn't matter each turn, each combat anyways. Oh, that's stupid of me. So we put the weak on him to bring his attack down a little bit. Now we're gonna strike her once. Throw up 1 defend and outmaneuver for a better turn next turn. Now we are at that meat in the bone territory, but we really need to make sure we finish everything off. All right, 4 shivs. Would have been nice to get more accuracies down before we came into the blade dance for the first time, but it is what it is. Predator gets us more cards next turn, and that extra mana is such a waste. But we were able to play 3 skills to get the artifact up there to pop. Or the relic, I mean. Alright, C17. This is what I don't like. Piercing Wail makes that more manageable though. 11. Slice is free. I think we simply have to defend. And I think Ritual Dagger probably makes sense there. Probably should have rested last rest site. All right, we're gonna get rid of the strike and a defend. Then we're gonna cloak and dagger. Still only gotten 1 accuracy down, which sucks. That would give us full block. But is it better to get a little bit more damage in here? No, I think making sure we have full block against him is important. This has been a challenging run. Challenging run. There's nothing we can do about the fact that he's gonna pop our fairy in a bottle, right? Except for the fact that we can kill him. Alright, Meat and Bone gets us back to 38. Crippling Cloud. That accomplishes something our deck doesn't already do. Being that it damages everybody. And it gets itself out of the way after we use it. We've got 30 card deck, so we need to start being a little more careful with things, but... Which boss is that? I think I simply need to rest. Like, what would we be upgrading? Accuracies? And is like getting up 3 upgraded accuracies down versus 3 regular accuracies that big of a difference in the end? That starts to feel like a win more. Alright, so we slice. We predator. Shivs. Blade dance. This is the Act 2 boss I am the least familiar with the mechanics of. I know we need to Piercing Wail here. Nightmaring the Piercing Wail might not be bad simply because that gives us more into our deck. Obviously we won't use them all next turn, but yeah, Piercing Wail simply has to be the choice there. Fortunately, he's got artifacts, so he's still gonna hit for 16. Oh, those guys steal our cards, and he stole our accuracy. Alright, but we get to Crippling Cloud, which also works on his artifact stacks. They're now gone. I think in this case we take the 6 damage to prioritize getting our accuracies down. All right, prepared. Get rid of you. Probably you. Next, we want to neutralize to get the weak on you. Let's dash you. Ritual Dagger probably makes more sense than getting that 5 block down, 6 block. Alright, he steals deadly poison, but we're about to get him. Alright, prepared. Get rid of that. And probably get rid of that. Definitely need the piercing whale. Now we cloak and dagger. We can just spend one on you because the poison gets you. And dodge and roll gets us started on block next turn. That's a big number. There's nothing we can do about that. We're just gonna have to pop our fairy in a bottle. So it becomes a damage race at this point, right? So extra energy next turn is huge. Now we do need to start focusing all damage at this big asshole. I think I can probably get away with stacking some poison on the orb though, so that it, you know, simply gets taken care of by poison. All right, so here we go. He's gonna pop our fairy in a bottle. We're on our last 21 health. Poison takes care of him though. So we can dagger throw. Dash and strike. All right, so that's lethal damage coming to our face. But we can piercing whale. Neutralize. Now he's only threatening 12. Is it like 1 defend and 1 accuracy here, or 2 defends? Each accuracy becomes an extra 12 damage across 1 blade dance. Actually 16 damage across 1 blade dance. I think God, I think I gotta just defend here. We gotta prioritize health when we're so low on it, right? The damage either comes or it doesn't. Oh, we can get rid of the piercing whale and the defend, because this is an all offense turn. Not getting any accuracies down this fight has been a strange turn of events, considering we have 3. All right, 40. That's a lot, man. Piercing whale brings that down to 24 at least, which is still lethal for us, but throw up some block. We're gonna take 2 from that, which means we're blocking 11 of the 24, which means we're gonna take 13. We're gonna be at 8. I think we pulled our last rabbit out of our hat here. All right, what is the right order of things to do? Predator accuracy, Predator dagger throw. Dagger throw could be bad because, well, no, these aren't really cards that we want there. So maybe even backflip Predator makes sense. So we'd like to just kind of burn through some of these crappy cards so that we can get into our All right, we're live one more turn. He's gonna throw a giant damage number up here though. 66. Yeah, this is it. This is the end of the road. I guess every time we... Oh, that's just because he gained weak. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna bring this down to 8 damage or less. Nope. All right, so that run felt extremely cursed from the start. We started to get a little bit of something going at one point, but obviously not enough there. So we're still up against a brick wall on Ascension 4, and we're now at 104 days until Slay the Spire 2, and we're at 5-2 record. So yeah. This was really yesterday's run. I'll be on later tonight, probably like midnight Central Time or something like that, to do today's run. And maybe we can get back on the winning side of things. We'll see.